There is a reason why humanity has forgotten its true self. You described in what you just said how to empower ourselves. Right? This force does not want humanity to empower itself. It wants humanity in a state of bewildered, confused, chaotic subservience. This is why the true nature of reality is so systematically suppressed, because once we remember, it's over. It's over.
Most people are not living their lives. They're not living who they are. They're living what they think others think they should be.
It can be a challenging time, because suddenly you're perceiving another reality that's so different to the one you've been perceiving before. And of course, when you start talking about it, for reasons we've discussed, you're going to get ridiculed by the mainstream. The trick is not to care, and from what I've seen of Jim, he don't care. And you know, people just thought, look at the range of things you perceive. Is that really the limit of what there is to perceive? Is that really the limit of what there is to know? Is that the limit of ways of seeing the subjects you have views about? Well, of course not. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction. Anybody's views are a tiny fraction of possibility. So why aren't we exploring all possibility? Not that you come across information and just because you come across it, oh, that's true, then I'll believe that now. No, you question it, you process it, you come to conclusions about it. But it's very simple, and history shows us this. Systematically reducing the amount of information, views, and diversity of information and views available to people never ends up well. It never turns out good. It always turns out bad for humanity. Who controls information overwhelmingly controls mass perception. They don't want us to know the true nature of reality, because if we did, then the pennies would start to drop on why human society is as it is. You don't need a scientific mind to understand the world. You do not need an academic mind to understand the world. You need an open one. And if we are going to turn this world around, people have to take their perceptions back. It's very clear that humanity is being manipulated generation after generation into what I might call a perceptual bubble. Perceptions are everything. What you perceive is how you behave. It's everything. It's your perceptions, what I would say programming, because if you look at a human life, you come out of the womb and you hit parental programming, which is not through malevolence, but the parents have been through what you were about to go through and bought it, so they pass that programming on to you. You hit the education system at an ever earlier age, and now throughout your formative years, you've got representatives of the state who are giving you the state's version of everything all the way through your formative years. The media is pounding the same version of reality at you. Science is telling you that. And then you've got peer pressure around you that's been through the same programming of perception and accepted it and believed it. And they give you a hard time if you have a different perception to what they've been programmed to have. And basically, we've got a situation where from cradle to grave, a human life is a perceptual download. And this consensus waves away any idea that reality, as mainstream science tells us, ludicrous, that there can be any manipulation of human society by a non-human force we can't see. And all the
all the perceptual download holds us in this narrow band of sense of the possible. And it puts people in bubbles. People are breaking out of them now more and more, but most people are still in this bubble. And this bubble has a reflex action response to anything that is not in the perceptual range of the bubble. So when people like me come out and say, blah, 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 we're being manipulated by a non-human force, the bubble reaction is, you're mad. This is how the perception thing works.
It's inevitable if people not only wake up, but do something about it. I mean, I just had a book out called Perceptions of a Renegade Mind, and a renegade mind is beyond a thinking mind. It's beyond a critically thinking mind, because a critically thinking mind will see things, they'll see it, but won't necessarily do anything about it. It won't necessarily stop cooperating with what it sees is wrong. Whereas a renegade mind will. A renegade mind will see it, but it will never concede itself to tyranny. It won't do it. I'm not going to, but I would rather die standing for freedom than live a few years longer with my head down bowed and like a nodding dog. I mean, that's just not the way. Yeah, absolutely. I think we're reaching the point now. People like, the people here today, and they're like around the world, where we are looking at people who are going to move. They're not going to move. And they're going to be adding to, because more and more of the vax, they're going to see it. We've been had. And now they're moving into the kids, and once the consequences for the kids start, that's the most difficult part. Then people are trying to be absolutely furious, because they can only lie. Oh, the kids are being affected by the virus, and so they can only lie about the real cause of their illness and their fatalities up to a point.
It is imbalance, but it has been increasingly in control. As I repeat, survey the world, ladies and gentlemen. Is the force of love in control of this world, guiding this planet at this time? Of course not. The negativity, the thoughts that I'm talking about that are very destructive, are pouring out of this planet.
Because you look at any tyranny, fascist tyranny, communist tyranny, whatever it is, whenever they get power, they want to destroy all alternative information and view that challenges what they want people to believe. Every time. So whenever you're in a situation where the free flow of information and view and opinion is being censored, you are in a tyranny. And what humanity has allowed itself, not everybody, of course, but great numbers, especially the political correctness group is they've allowed themselves to become a tyranny while claiming to be anti-tyranny.